Hey guys, Epoch here. Today I'm back with another Harlowe build. This build is themed around using Jakobs guns, critical hits, ricochets, and a lot of radiation damage. This is by far the most in-depth I've gone into a build so far. It's looking likely to be my day one build. So strap in. We're going to focus on the Cosmic Brilliance tree and the flux generator action skill. With this skill, we will throw down a flux generator device that will project an energy field around it in a large radius. Enemies inside are entangled and take cryo damage, which can freeze them, making them easier to crit. We get overshield for staying inside this field. Also, we can pick it up and move it around to like a new location anytime when the action skill is active. Let's take a look at the skill tree. In the top section, we first take momentum for 25% increase to critical hit damage. Action at a distance gives us 20% chance to spread our status effect to all entangled enemies. If this works for cryo, then we're able to easily line up a bunch of enemies for easy critical hits. Neutron decay gives us up to 50% gun damage for irradiating up to 5 enemies. This is made easier by our previous skill, spreading out of the status effects. Confirmative reality lets us get our action skill back really quick, simply by shooting entangled enemies. Let's take a look at the left branch of the skill tree. Decoherence lets us do 25% more damage to entangled enemies, and another 15%, adding up to a total of 40% bonus damage if they are inside the action skill AoE. Feedback loop gives us 30% action skill damage, duration, and cooldown rate. This is really going to help us with the uptime of our action skill. Before we jump over to the middle branch, let's take a look at some of the skills in the right branch first. Refraction gives us up to a 60% chance for us to ricochet bullets when shooting entangled enemies. Jakobs guns already ricochet enemies when we're trying to hit crits. We've also seen enhancements, which replace the relic slot in this game, which give Jakobs guns a chance to ricochet on non-critical hits as well. With all this, we're just going to have bullets flying around hitting multiple enemies. And all the entangled enemies are going to further share this damage, letting you clear entire rooms with just a few shots. Excited state gives us a 35% increase to our critical damage. More importantly, it gives us one free critical hit every time an enemy has been damaged by our action skill. If it takes you more than one shot to kill an enemy, you weren't using a Jakobs. Accretion gives us 3% lifesteal against entangled enemies. With how hard we are hitting all the enemies and all the ricochets that are happening, this just helps us stay alive very easily. Finally, let's dig into the middle branch. First, we put 4 points into Gamma Ray Burst. This will break our shield and give us 40% of its maximum capacity as bonus radiation on our next shot when we re-trigger our action skill. This will help us hit extra hard for a potential one-shot on tanky targets. We put 1 point into Harlowe's Certainty Principle for some gun handling, but mainly to unlock critical funding. This gives us a 15% chance to entangle enemies with critical hits outside of our action skill. Additionally, it also refunds ammo into our magazines, letting us shoot without reloading. Using this on a Jakobs gun with torque stickies would let us absolutely delete bosses. It will also completely bypass reloading on guns like the Hellwalker, letting them shoot basically like automatic weapons. And finally, we have Meltdown, which gives us 40% bonus radiation damage on crits. However, we need to remember that this is 40% of the damage we have dealt after applying all the damage increases like crit, gun damage, and damage taken. So this number has the potential to be quite broken. For our capstone, we're going with Violent Horizon. This makes our flux generator shoot out projectiles at enemies outside of its radius, which will entangle them as it's doing action skill damage. If an enemy gets irradiated, they will be pulled into the flux generator. Reactivating the action skill makes a singularity that pulls by nearby enemies. Finally, we have access to all the augments in the tree. I recommend using Nuclear Winter when mobbing to get 25% bonus radiation or cryo damage depending whether you're inside or outside the action skill. It also provides us with another means of entangling enemies by applying radiation or cryo status effect on enemies. For bossing, try Coronal Mass Ejection to remove all the elemental resistances of a boss, making them take significantly more damage. It also doubles your status effect chance. Finally, I want to take a moment to talk about other pieces of gear we have seen in preview footage. As I mentioned earlier, we have seen the Leaper Jakobs enhancement mod, which gives you a 40% chance to ricochet non-critical hits with guns with Jakobs parts. We also saw the set bonus from the Deadeye firmware. This gives us a 100% bonus to our critical hit damage. This will be an absolute must for our build. Let's look at the overall stats for this build. We're getting 60% critical hit damage, 1 ammo refunded per crit, a 15% chance to entangle enemies on crit, a guaranteed crit after dealing action skill damage, 50% bonus gun damage, Enemies take 40% more damage if they're entangled and inside our action skill. 40% bonus radiation damage of our max shield when we retrigger our action skill. Action skill power is increased by 30% flat and another 15% per retrigger of our action skill. A 60% chance to ricochet shots on crits. 3% lifesteal. 40% bonus radiation damage, and then 25% further bonus radiation damage or cryo damage based on whether we are inside or outside our action skill. We have a 20% chance to spread our damage over time to all entangled enemies, and we get 1.5 seconds of our action skill cooldown reset every time we shoot an entangled enemy. Well, that's all folks. Thanks for watching.